There under Biden, now Trump. What has been the difference in foreign policy with the Saudis?
Night and day. Look, Biden spent 4 years antagonizing our friends and allies and showing weakness and appeasement to our enemies. You think about it, Joe Biden inherited peace and prosperity from the first Trump presidency. And what happened? Immediately we saw war break out across the globe. We saw Russia invade Ukraine, and we saw October 7th and the war in Gaza. I think both of those wars were a direct response to the weakness of Joe Biden as commander-in-chief. And with Trump back in office, we've seen illegal border crossings plummet. We've seen all the hostages from Israel return to Israel, and that is the difference of a strong commander-in-chief. And I'll tell you, the Saudis, you look, in the first term of President Trump, we had the Abraham Accords, one of the most historic peace negotiation in decades, bringing together Arabs and Jews towards peace. I think if Trump had been in a second term immediately after the first, I think the Saudis would have entered the Abraham Accords. But instead, Joe Biden came in, completely screwed that up. And I'll tell you what I take from the meeting today. I have not yet heard the precise details of what's discussed, but I'm going to make a prediction, Jesse, that within the next year, I believe the Saudis will enter the Abraham Accords. And you want to talk about taking a massive step forward for peace in the Middle East, expanding the Abraham Accords to bring together Arabs and Jews. That is historic. And only Donald Trump has been able to do that in our lifetime.
Yeah, and then that can free us up so we don't have to babysit that region like we have been for so long. Things are going pretty well with the foreign policy of this administration, but you have Democrats, some of your colleagues, telling CIA agents, telling Army officers, telling people in the Navy to disobey the commander-in-chief. What's that?
Look, Democrats, unfortunately, their base within the government is the deep state. It is left-wing partisans who in the first Trump administration openly waged war with the president. And that's Democrats calling on the armed services to fight against President Trump, the CIA to fight against President Trump. And by the way, you know what? None of them were worried about illegal orders when Joe Biden fired about 10,000 active duty servicemen and women because they declined to get the COVID vaccine. None of the Democrats were worried about illegal orders when Joe Biden fired FBI agents and Border Patrol agents and prosecutors because they declined to get the COVID vaccine. By the way, none of them were worried about illegal orders when Joe Biden pretended to give away $1 trillion of federal government money, claiming to forgive student loans. By the way, the Supreme Court threw that out, said the president has no authority to do that. Supreme Court also threw out Biden's illegal vaccine mandates, and yet the Democrats didn't care about rule of law then. Now they're mad because President Trump is succeeding. They're mad because the border is secured. They're mad because peace is breaking out worldwide. They're mad because the enemies of America are losing. And today's Democrats in Congress, they're just a party of anger and hate. They hate Donald J. Trump, and you see it in every one of their extreme positions.
Yeah, I don't know if it's treason, but it smells like it. Good to talk to you, Senator. Thank you so much. The Butler